Hello everyone, my name is Korosh Erfani. I am sociologist and the writer of the book Infinitism and some of the books related to infinitism, like the one we are talking about in this program, which is called Infinitylogy, the foundation of new discipline. This is a book that we published in 2021, and in which we try to give an idea about this new discipline that is called Infinitylogy, and we would like to have the impact and also the feedback of those who are interested in the study of infinity as a philosophical and scientific topic. So we are making a lecture of the book Infinitylogy, and we got to the page 17, which is a part of the introduction of this book, and that's why I would like to continue this lecture with you. We said that the infinitism has some claim and assertion according to which we can have the infinite resource of material and energy in the world, in the nature, and now we want to know how we can get there. So we read, the task of Infinitylogy is therefore difficult and complex. Infinitylogy is the discipline that would study the seriousness and the reliable aspect of the theory of infinitism and its statements, right? So we are saying that its task is hard and complex. Why? Because it cannot be limited to any exclusive fields of science, right? But it should involve all of them, all the fields of science, all the kinds of science should be involved in what we are establishing as this new discipline called Infinitylogy. So the question is now to know how Infinitylogy should proceed, because when you are talking about something that is charged, a discipline that is charged with the study of infinity, and at the same time it doesn't want to exclude any field of science, so it means that you have a huge task, methodologically speaking, to proceed, right? And that's why that's the question, how Infinitylogy can proceed, how it can move forward in order to verify this theory of infinitism, which is everything is infinite. And because everything is infinite, we have this possibility to find the infinite resource in everything, in every single part of the matter. We should be able to find the infinite source of energy and materials. That's the idea. So we continue the lecture. How can we show that there would be, or not, a demonstrable, ongoing, and real infinitude in the structure of matter? That's the idea of infinitism, that everything is infinite, or is not. If there is something that we cannot identify with an infinitude within, it means that that thing doesn't exist at all. That's in our imagination. So if something is related to the material world, it means that it should be with an infinite structure, with the particularities that we will explain. We are just in the introduction. So the question is how Infinitylogy would be able to demonstrate that everything is infinite. We said the task doubles in difficulty because beyond the theoretical affirmation of its presence, the infinitude should be revealed as usable through our operative capacity of intervention. So the task of infinitology is double. In the one hand, it should be able to demonstrate that everything, every single part of the material world is effectively infinite, which means there is infinitude in everything. That's the first thing as the demonstrative function of infinitology. And on the other hand, because infinitism is telling us that we can find the infinite resources in the nature, so now you should infinitology should be able to show how we can do that, how we can use the infinite resources in the material, right? In the material world. So how we can get the infinite source of energy, infinite source of materials as much as we want, and as we want in the material world when it's a question of the infinite structure of matter, right? So not only it's a question of showing that there is an endless process of going, of moving forward in the structure of matter, but also how we can operate on that, how we can use that, how we can intervene in this structure in order to get material and energy. That's the challenge of the infinitology. Now, to do that, infinitology will have to go through a road that contains the following steps. Let's see the pathway and its different phases. 1, proving itself as possible relevant field of study. So that's the preliminary challenge of the infinitology. We should be able to show that we can consider infinitology as a discipline. And when we say the discipline, it means that there are the basic and fundamental concepts for that discipline. It means that there is a field of study, there is a methodology, and there are the practices. So all of these will justify the presence of a new discipline that we can call the infinitology. And infinitology means the knowledge of infinity, the acquaintance of infinity. So we didn't have that, right? We don't have yet this discipline established and recognized by the academic world, by the scientific community, for example. We don't have that. But the first step is effectively to show that there is a methodology proper to this new discipline, a methodology that can be functional and with precise techniques, concepts, ideas, and also the analytical model of the real world, of the material world. So, which means that for what we have started as this undertaking, we have to put maybe years and years to establish just this discipline. For example, let me show you that we have already a website that is called Infinitylogy.com, and if you come on this website, you will find a lot of things, book, videos, and so on. But in order just to establish this discipline, we created a center of study. And as you can see, that's the website. It's called the Center for Research and Development of Infinitology, CRDI. So when you come to this website, you will see that we already started this first phase we are talking about in this book, right? Proving itself as a possible relevant field of study. So what we are doing in this center is just to produce as much as materials possible so that the user can see that there are the things to be studied, to be taught, to be debated, to be worked, right? And we are doing many, not only books, we publish several books in this field, right? But also many papers, different articles and papers. Some of them are, I don't know, 10, 20 pages on different topics related to infinity, infinitism, Infinitology. And all of these are not just but a part, a segment of this first phase we are talking about, proving itself as a possible relevant field of study. And let me tell you that we started this center 3 months ago, and we have published so far 5 books and many articles, more than 30 articles. The books had been published last year, but the center started having a regular activity from the 1st January 2022, and we are trying to be present on the social media in such a way that the people start to hear about a discipline called Infinitology. So, as you can see, it's not, when we said that it's a hard task, it's a complex task, it means this. It means that for years, not only months, because we started just 3 months ago, this center, but years and years, you have put time just in order to let the people know that there is, a new sheriff in the town. There is a discipline that is called Infinitology. So the people start just to hear that, and then maybe some individuals to be curious about that. What is this? What the hell it is? And then from that moment, we will have a momentum by those who are interested in the subject, in the topics, in the production, in all we are producing. So, one day, after, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, this first phase would have been done, proving itself as a possible, relevant field of study. All right. If it's the case, we can go through the second phase, defining its thematic scope as precisely as possible, which means now that we have a discipline, we have a new discipline, this discipline should show what is precisely its topics, its thematics, right? And it should be precise, it should be specific. We cannot talk about only the generality of the infinity, for example. Why? Because we are Infinitology has a mission. The mission is to move forward with the theory of infinitism. And the theory of infinitism is telling, 1, everything is infinite or is not. 2, we can use the infinitude in action. We can use the infinitude in the material world. So, 2 huge assertion, to big statement that are the basis of the work of the Infinitology as a new discipline. Infinitology should show if really the world is, as infinitism claims it, infinite. And second, if we can use infinity in order to have everything as source of material and energy infinitely, endlessly, right? So once we can show that such a discipline could exist, we have to define what is exactly the thematic and the topics on which this discipline wants to work. 3, establishing a theoretical framework as the foundation of its methodology. So here we have the theme, and here we have the theoretical framework, right? Which means what would be the main basic concepts of this discipline in such a way that we can use these concepts like infinity, infinitude, infinitude in action, action in infinite, or action in infinitude, the things like that, as the fundamental concepts of its theoretical framework in such a way that we can ground our methodology on this conceptual framework. And then we get the phase 4, elaborating on its methodology, or maybe the mythologies, because we are talking about everything. When you are treating the infinity, you cannot miss anything. So that's why maybe it's a question of the different mythology, different level of mythology, different kinds of mythology, and that's why we talked about the mythologies, right? So we will have the topic, the thematic, we will have the theoretical framework, and then we will have the mythology. And then we get at the end of this phase of construction of this discipline, which is launching itself as a new discipline. So you see how moderately we planned our strategy. With a lot of cautious calculations. Why? Because we know that how it is hard to attract the attention of the people on a new idea, just one idea. Now imagine that not only we have an idea, but many ideas constructed as the theory, a philosophical theory called infinitism. And based on this theory, we have many important new assertions, new statements. Two of them, only two of them, are everything is infinite or is not. And second, that we can find the infinite sources of energy and materials in anything. So, and then we need a discipline to show, to demonstrate the seriousness and the practical aspect of this theory. So, when you know that even for suggesting a new idea in the market, in such a way that the people start to connect to this idea and to use that and to apply that and to deal with that, it takes years, decades, sometimes for the old time, centuries. Now imagine that our package, ideas, philosophical theory, and a new discipline. So it's a huge package. So that's why we are not waiting for an immediate welcoming acceptance of this package at all. We should be realistic and have our feet on the ground, down to earth. We have to understand that the market is very, very reluctant regarding the new ideas. Imagine that for a philosophical theory to be installed, to be established, and also to pull with itself a new discipline for studying the concepts and ideas related to infinity. So that's a huge burden, the huge charge that we are trying to carry out. And that's why if you see these 5 steps, you see that how conservative it is, right? We don't have any illusion about how it should be done. There is no shortcome to get the objective of what we are doing. It's very hard, it's difficult, it's lasting, it's time consuming, it's a hard working project, and that's why we should be very moderate and humble regarding what we can get as result. And as I said in one of my previous videos, I am not waiting to see the result of this work by myself in my lifespan, right? But I will do what I can do, and then I will leave to those who are interested in this project to keep going. And maybe in some decades there would be some feedbacks and acceptance. All right, we will stop here, and in the next part we will continue the lecture of introduction. We will see how effectively we can deal with these 5 steps we just talked about. Thank you very much for having your attention, and I hope that you can visit and you will visit our website. As you can see, there are 3 different websites under this image. Infinitylogy.com, infinitism.info, and the Center for Research and Development of Infinitology with the website www.crdi.com. Thank you, and see you in the next video. Bye.